Hey guys, how are you doing? I've been wanting to make this video for 2 days now, and I just want to do a disclosure, a trigger warning, because I'm new at this whole YouTube thing. I don't really understand like their policies or whatever, even after reading it, because whatever. So disclaimer, if this triggers you in any way, I'm going to be talking about a specific time that I was sent to the psych ward. And luckily it was only one time, and it's a really stupid reason why I went there, but it was all the way in the summer of 2015, so I kind of just want to talk about that today. So if you're interested, then keep watching. So anyway, I will start from the very beginning. It was the summer of 2015, and yeah, I went to the psychiatric ward. I was on the phone. I remember trying to get back on medication for ADHD. I was on Focalin way back in 2009, but that's a whole nother video. So I was on the phone. I was calling places. I was trying to get an appointment. I called one place, and this woman said, "Oh, just go to the psych ward, and they will prescribe you your medicine, and that's going to be the start to how you can get back on medicine." And stupid me at the time, I was like so excited that I finally found a solution, but I was like, wait, like what? So I hung up with her, and I told my grandmother that I was going to get back on ADHD medication. I'm so excited about this. Let's do it. And I was like, wait, like how do you go to the psych ward? I didn't even know. And my grandmother was like, all you have to do is tell them that you're suicidal, or that you attempted to commit suicide. And before you knew it, it was like this weird thing. I was also going through like a really weird time back then. I was living with roommates, particular roommates that were driving me fucking crazy. Like the worst roommates you can imagine by 100. They were like, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so it was a very weird time in my life. So anyway, yeah, before you knew it, I was kind of like calling 911, and I was like, yeah, I just attempted to commit suicide. And you know, they did the whole 911 phone call process, like, why are you calling, what's your state of mind right now, whatever questions they asked. I'm not really too sure, like I don't really remember too much on like what questions they asked, but the typical questions in a 911 call. And before you knew it, like, they were on their way. I hung up the phone. It all happened, like, within minutes. It was very weird. And, like, once I hung up the call with them, they're on their way to, you know, come check out what was going on, the cops. I was like, what in the hell did I just do? What am I doing? Like, it's just a normal summer sunny day, like, I didn't really realize anything. They came there, the cops came there within a couple of minutes. I packed like a small bag. I didn't really know what to bring, which, let me tell you, the psych ward is like being in jail, basically. It is not fun. It's not a vacation, and I regret going, which I'm going to tell you all that. I'm going to get into that in a second. So the cops asked me if I was okay. I was like, no, I just tried to commit suicide, which I clearly didn't. I just wanted to go. And yeah, before you knew it, after that, I was on my way, like in an ambulance to the psych ward, and they were trying to like talk to me, and I feel like I weirded them out because I was like just so calm, and like I looked so lost and so dumbfounded. I was like, yeah, like and they were like, oh, how did you do it? What did you do? And I remember saying, oh, I tried to like drink myself to death, which I know is a real thing, and I'm not laughing at that because I know how serious it could be. You could die of alcohol poisoning. I get it. But yeah, that's what I said, and I just feel like coming out of my mouth at that moment just sounded like silly. But anyway, so yeah, it was a very long process. Once we got out of the ambulance to the hospital, I was waiting in the emergency room for hours, like for hours and hours and hours. I went there at like 1 p.m. I didn't get processed. till like 5, like 4:30, 5 o'clock at night. So yeah, it was a long like intake, if you will. If you're ever like transferred from like jail to prison, it's kind of like that. Like they ask you like a whole bunch of questions, and they like strip your clothes, they give you like a robe, and they give you a little like bracelet saying like your information, like a little tag or whatever. Like so yeah, I got that. And yeah, after that whole process of waiting like in a small little corner in the emergency room, after that they got me in a wheelchair. And I remember asking like, why am I in a wheelchair? Like, I can walk clearly, like I'm fine. And they're like, oh, so in case you fall, we could get sued or whatever for our protection and yours. We have to put you in a wheelchair. So we went up to the 6th floor in the hospital to the psych ward unit, and there I was. They took all my stuff. I didn't have any clothes. I didn't bring any clothes. I was just in like a hospital robe for like the first day. The second day, I remember I called my grandmother and I told her and my uncle if they could please bring me like clothes because everything got taken from me. So yeah, because you could have visits only for like a half hour in the psych ward, and I think it's only like 2 o'clock visitors could come. So yeah, and it was a weekend, so they're like, you cannot get released until Monday or Tuesday, depending on your state of mind and how you progress. So yes, I went into the psych ward on a Friday. How stupid, again. I didn't know anything. But yeah, no, so they let me out of the wheelchair. We got locked in to this the psych ward unit, and there I was. And yeah, it was like fucking jail. It was just, oh my God, like the smell, the people, you're like locked in with schizophrenic people. There was a guy in there that was coming down off heroin. That was just, it was not fun. It didn't smell good. The food was disgusting. And let me talk about the food now because, ooh, it was fucking nasty. So I just got in time to settle in once I got in there, and it was dinner time. So I remember I made friends with this one girl real quick. She had bipolar, which that's a whole other story. We were like friends for like a year, but she was not a good person. So, but I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, she was my roommate because it was 2 people per room, and it wasn't, it had to be the same sex. So even though there were a few guys up there like with me, in the room you have 2 people per room. So it can't be like guy, girl. It's either girl, girl, or guy, guy. So my roommate happened to be a similar age to me, and she had bipolar, whatever. So, and she was, you know, she was cool. She kind of like told me how everything worked and whatever. So yeah, we get ready to go to dinner, and oh man, the dinner was just so disgusting. It was like the cheapest microwave style dinner you can eat. Like it was just like a slab of like disgusting meat with like watery mashed potatoes and like steamed vegetables, and like that was dinner. It was disgusting. All I ate was the vegetables. I wasn't really hungry. And oh man, it was just such a weird day. And mind you, I was there like all weekend. So the next morning, though, we get up at like, I think 7 in the morning. They wake us up for breakfast. And after we eat breakfast, which was a disgusting breakfast, I can't even remember, but it was gross. I get evaluated by the weekend doctor. I tell them my story while I'm there. Well, my story that I'm in there because I tried to kill myself. I tried to drink myself to death, or I don't know. That's what I said. And they put me on pills for ADHD. I told them I was suicidal. I had ADHD and I really needed to be on medication for it again. And I was trying to get my life together and all this stuff. So he prescribed me Ritalin, I think the lowest dosage. So I took that, and then a pill for depression. They prescribed me those 2 pills. I don't remember what pill for depression it was. All I remember is that it gave me like diarrhea. Like I didn't even eat, and like I was just like not hungry. My stomach was constantly hurting. Sorry if that's like too much info, but that's what the side effect, that's what was going on. So yeah, I was like kind of not feeling well. But yeah, no, so that's what happened. And let me just tell you though about the people, because that's another reason why I wanted to make this video. The people, oh my god, in there. So I was in there with the bipolar girl, a few other schizophrenic people. There was this guy that was coming down off heroin, and yeah, it was just people like that. Not really fun to be around. It kind of made me more depressed. So I was like, can't wait to get out of there. This one woman, and I couldn't even like eat watching her do this. Every time we would eat, because we all had to eat in like the cafeteria area, we couldn't bring food into our rooms or anything. And she would pour like milk, like those little milk cartons you get in school. That's like what they gave us. It was that, and then like a little plastic thing of juice or water. Those are the three options. So orange juice or apple juice, milk or water. That was it. That's all you could drink in there. Well, that's all that they gave you, unless somebody was nice enough, a family member, to bring you like soda. But whatever. Anyway, she would pour her milk on every meal. And at first, I think, I didn't think anything of it because I didn't really see her do it until like breakfast time. And I think she was eating like cereal or something. I don't remember, but it like made sense to me why she was like pouring milk on it. But then when lunchtime came around, this woman was like pouring milk all over her vegetables, all over her fish, because it was either fish or chicken and veggies. And I like couldn't even eat, and I didn't eat or shower like while I was there. Well, I ate a little bit because the third day I was there, which was Sunday, my grandfather and my uncle like brought me a sandwich from Hula Hands, which I ended up sharing with my roommate. Like I gave her half because I felt bad. But yeah, no, like I could not eat their food. Between the smell and this girl, this woman, because she was kind of like an older woman, maybe 50s or 60s. She was like pouring milk on every fucking meal, like the whole thing of milk. And she was like, oh, it adds flavor. And I was like, couldn't even eat. Between that and the smell, I looked like a fucking crazy person, like going into the cafeteria. Because by the second day, I like just had a sheet over me. I'm like, well, I'm in the psych ward, crazy people, so who the fuck cares? I would literally go into the psych ward like this with my sheet, like, over me. I looked like a crazy person. I would just go in there like that. Everyone was, like, looking at me, and I was like, I said it out loud. I was like, I can't take the fucking smell in here. I was like, it's so gross. I can't eat. And there was hair in my food at I think at dinner. I was just eating my steamed vegetables, and I was like, between like, and I think one of the nurses asked, she was like, why aren't you eating? And I was like, well, between this woman pouring milk all over her food, plucking out hair, because one of my meals there was like hair in my food. It's like, it's really hard to eat, really fucking disgusting, ew. So yeah, the meals are disgusting, like jail food. I've never been to jail, but from what I've heard, and basically, yes, the psych ward is, you're locked in, you can't get out. There's bars on the windows, and for suicidal precautions, like, there was like nothing in your room. It was just like a sheet, like a blanket, small pillow, a bed, no TV in there, no nothing in there, nothing else. Even in the bathroom, like, they give you like the shitty little toothbrush. You can't even brush your teeth with it. It's like so shitty. Deodorant, like a roll-on, like watery, like deodorant, and toothpaste. Like, that's all they give you. And yeah, it's like really bad. And like the bags in the bathroom, it's not plastic bags, it's like paper bags, like little lunch bags that they put there in case you have to like throw something out. Oh my god, it was like it was bad. So yeah, that was my experience with that and the food and the people. There was like this one like black woman who would like rock back and forth, and it sounded like she was having a whole conversation with people, but she was just talking to herself. Like, it was like really weird. That heroin addict guy, he was just like throwing up like the whole time and like just shaking the whole time because he was like coming down off heroin. And yeah, like The other people I didn't really pay attention to. It was mostly like guys, and they were just like weird. They would like piss themselves, and like they would just like be in their room most of the time. I don't know, it was like really weird. Anyway, the third day I was there, which was a Monday, and I was like, I can't go home. I didn't go home till Tuesday. But yeah, no, Monday they were like, yeah, you could go home tomorrow, which was a Tuesday, and I was like, fuck, I can't believe I'm here like another day. So I was just hanging out. My roommate had gone, she went home on Monday, so I was kind of like there, like, I don't know, now, just like by myself. It was bad. And this new guy came in, and it was like, he was so fucking weird. I remember I was so bored. I was trying to like watch TV, and I was watching it like with that heroin addict guy, and we were watching like Law and Order, and this new guy that came in, first of all, he fucking pissed himself as soon as he got there. It was like really gross. After he settled in, he kept putting on the sports channel and just pacing back and forth. Like, he would put the sports channel on, walk away, pace back and forth in like the little hallway. And me and him got into like a argument, because I was like, you're changing my show, not my show, but me and this heroin addict guy or whatever watching like something, you keep changing it, which is totally fine, but why are you like walking away from the TV, fucking pacing back and forth? Like, what is your problem? Me and him got into an argument about it, like the TV. How petty is that? Like, I'm arguing like over the fucking TV. But yeah, no, so I went over to the nurse and I was like, look, I don't care what anybody does. I'm like, but he's not watching sports. I'm like, he's literally just putting it on, walking away from the TV, and like pacing. So I winded up getting my way, thank God. But yeah, no, so like that was really fun. I could not fucking wait to leave though. It was so bad. By the way, that's when I got into wrestling, because Monday Night Raw was on, and that like guy that was on heroin, he was like, oh, do you watch like wrestling? And I was like, no, not really. And back then, 2015, there was like a lot of matches with like Seth Rollins versus John Cena. And I remember like I just noticed Seth Rollins, and I was like, oh my God, he's like so hot. So like after that, I like really kind of got into wrestling, just because I thought Seth Rollins was hot. But yeah, no, so that's like a fun fact. Like, I was like, oh my God, like I love wrestling now. It was just so funny like being in there. That's like the only thing I got out of it, was like I became like obsessed with like wrestling, mainly Seth Rollins. But so yeah, all that happened, and there's a lot more that I'm probably forgetting, but I'll save all those things for like other videos. I just wanted to give you like an overview of my experience in the psychiatric ward, and I never want to go back. I haven't been back. Horrible experience, kind of like jail. You're locked in, fucking crazy people, and it's not a good time. And yeah, I hope I like never go back. I don't think I will, but I mean, who knows? I hope I never like go back though. It was just so bad. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and your comments down below. Maybe there's a similar story to mine where you just wanted to go back in the psych ward just to get on medicine. I don't know, and you kind of like, I don't know, just I would be very interested to know like if anyone else was in the psych ward and if their story's like similar to mine. So yeah, definitely let me know down below, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye. See you later.